The doctor paused mid-sentence, looked at the exhausted single father standing beside his sick child, and said something that made the entire room fall silent. If you weren't married, I'd add my number. What happened next wasn't romance the way you expect. It was something far deeper, kinder, and life-changing. Right finger before we begin, please like this video and subscribe to True Kindness Tales, because stories like this remind us that humanity is still alive. The hospital hallway smelled of antiseptic and old coffee, the kind that never really woke you up but kept you standing. Adam sat on a hard plastic chair, his elbows resting on his knees, his hands clasped so tightly his knuckles had turned pale. His 6-year-old daughter, Lily, lay on the narrow hospital bed in front of him, her small chest rising and falling unevenly. Every breath sounded like a question mark, uncertain, fragile, frightening. Adam hadn't slept in nearly 40 hours. Between night shifts at the warehouse and caring for Lily alone since her mother passed away 3 years earlier, exhaustion had become his permanent state. But tonight, exhaustion felt heavier. Tonight, fear had weight. Lily's fever had spiked suddenly, and when she collapsed at home, Adam didn't even lock the door. He just scooped her up and ran to the car, praying the engine would start and that he'd make it in time. When the doctor finally walked in, Adam stood up so fast his chair scraped loudly against the floor. She was calm, composed, and young, early 30s, maybe. Her name tag read Drive. Emily Carter. She had kind eyes, the kind that didn't rush you even when the world was rushing around them. She examined Lily carefully, asked Adam questions, and listened, really listened, as he stumbled over answers, apologizing every few seconds like he was doing something wrong just by existing. Emily noticed everything. The way Adam flinched when Lily coughed, the dark circles under his eyes, the frayed cuffs of his jacket, and the way he kept whispering, "I'm here, baby," even though Lily was barely conscious. After running a few tests, Emily explained the situation gently. Severe pneumonia. Serious, but treatable. Adam felt his knees weaken with both fear and relief. He thanked her repeatedly, his voice cracking despite his efforts to stay strong. As Emily adjusted Lily's IV, she made small talk, not to fill silence, but to make the room feel less cold. She asked about Lily's school, her favorite cartoons, her favorite food. Adam answered with small smiles, grateful for the distraction. When Emily casually asked, "Is her mom on the way?" the room shifted. Adam swallowed hard. "It's just me," he said quietly. "Her mother passed away." Emily paused. Not the awkward pause people usually made, this was different. It was respectful, human. "I'm sorry," she said softly, and she meant it. As she finished her notes, she looked at Adam and, half smiling, half serious, said, "You're doing an incredible job. Not everyone could handle this alone." Adam shrugged. "I don't have a choice." That's when she said it, almost joking, almost not. "If you weren't married, I'd add my number." Adam blinked, confused. "I'm not married," he said. Emily raised an eyebrow, surprised. The air between them changed, but instead of flirting, something deeper settled in, understanding. Emily laughed softly, a little embarrassed. "Well, hospital rules," she said lightly, stepping back into professional mode. But Adam couldn't stop thinking about her words. Not because of romance, his heart was still buried in grief, but because no one had spoken to him like that in years. Not as a burden, not as a problem, but as someone seen. Over the next few days, Lily stayed in the hospital. Emily wasn't always her doctor, but she checked in whenever she could. Sometimes it was just a smile through the door, sometimes a quick update, sometimes a cup of coffee left beside Adam's chair without a word. Those small gestures felt bigger than grand speeches. Adam learned that Emily had grown up poor, raised by a single mother who worked 2 jobs. She understood tired eyes. She understood quiet strength. One night, Adam finally broke. Lily had another coughing fit, alarms beeped, nurses rushed in, and Adam stood frozen, useless, terrified. When things settled, he stepped into the hallway and leaned against the wall, his shoulders shaking as he tried not to cry. Emily found him there. She didn't ask questions. She didn't offer cliches. She just stood beside him and said, "You don't have to be strong every second." That was all it took. Adam cried. Not loudly, not dramatically, but the kind of crying that comes from holding too much for too long. Emily stayed until he could breathe again. No judgment, no rush. As Lily slowly improved, Adam realized something unsettling. Kindness scared him now. He wasn't used to receiving it. He was used to surviving. Emily's compassion didn't try to fix his life, it simply made it lighter for a moment. On the day Lily was discharged, Adam thanked Emily again, his voice steadier this time. She smiled and handed him a small card. "This isn't my number," she said quickly. "It's a support group for single parents. They helped my mom when I was a kid." Adam looked at the card, then at her. His eyes filled, not with tears this time, but with something warmer. Gratitude. As they said goodbye, Emily added quietly, "And Adam, if you ever need help, not as a patient, but as a person, don't be afraid to ask." Adam nodded. Driving home, Lily asleep in the backseat, Adam felt something he hadn't felt in years, hope without guilt. Not hope for romance, hope for healing, for community, for a future where he didn't have to do everything alone. Months passed. Lily grew stronger, louder, happier. Adam joined the support group. He learned how to accept help without feeling weak. He even began volunteering at the hospital on weekends, bringing toys and books to children whose parents looked just like he once did, tired, scared, and alone. One afternoon, while dropping off donated supplies, Adam saw Emily again. They shared a smile. No tension, no expectation. Just mutual respect. Emily later learned that Adam had started a small online page sharing stories of everyday kindness, inspired by that night in the hospital. One of those stories went viral. Thousands of people commented, saying it reminded them to be gentler, to notice, to care. Adam never asked Emily for her number. He didn't need to. What she gave him was far more valuable than romance. She reminded him that kindness doesn't have to be loud to be life-changing. Sometimes it's a sentence said at the right moment. Sometimes it's staying silent when someone needs space to fall apart. Sometimes it's seeing someone not for who they were, but for who they were becoming. And that lesson stayed with Adam forever. If this story touched your heart, reminded you of the power of small kindnesses, or made you believe in humanity again, please like this video and subscribe to True Kindness Tales. Your support helps us share more real, emotional stories that inspire hope, compassion, and connection. Heart.